David Benavidez was on the card as well, co-main event. He fought Alexander Vozdik, Ukrainian, very good fighter. Obviously, Benavidez' first fight at 175. Benavidez got the job done. A couple of scorecards I thought were very wide. I think one was 119, 109. It wasn't that type of fight. But Benavidez did say he's not staying at 175. He's coming back down to 168. He's obviously chasing the Canelo fight, which doesn't look like he's going to get anytime soon. Would it not be a good idea to stay at 175? I mean, Beterbiev is approaching 40. There's a chance that he might not make the Bivol fight, Beterbiev, because of that injury. Benavidez could slide straight in and fight Bivol, and we'd all be happy with that fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight, but I really do think that if we don't get to see Saul Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, there'll be a blemish on the career of Canelo. There is an absolute blemish there if he doesn't fight Benavidez. I don't like it as this steps on. This is where money and ego are wrong on this one. It needs to happen. It has to happen. Canelo has nothing to fear from Benavidez in terms of if he loses to him. He's lost to Bivol, a very big guy. He could lose to Benavidez, who's a very, very big super middleweight. It's a great style. Again, it's a super fight.
Is he ducking him then?
He is exercising the right as the A side not to have it at the moment. He's holding it at bay. He's thrown a figure of $200 million out there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
For that fight, something like that. We've got to see it. I think it's a travesty, a tragedy if it never happens. And I think it falls at the foot of Canelo. I'm one of his biggest advocates from the entire length of his career. But I don't enjoy the debate around it. It needs to happen.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's a fight we all want to see, Ade.
No, I agree. It's bad. I mean, look, I just started the show by talking about Benavidez potentially staying at 175. He is the number one ranked at 168. He should be fighting the champion. The champion is Canelo. And I think it's a duck. And I find it weird to say that because Canelo, you look at the ledger, the resume, he's not ducked anyone. He's fought everyone you could fight. But why not Benavidez then? We didn't really want to see Minguia. It was a good fight. We certainly do not want to see Berlanga, who looks like he will fight in September, when there's this guy out here that's the number one contender. Why are you not fighting the next man up? And if you're not going to fight him, vacate your belts. Let Benavidez fight Devin Morrell.
Would you say that Bivol is a harder fight than Benavidez? I would say yes.
Wait. Oh.
But he fought Bivol.
I think the problem of the thing about fighting Bivol was that Bivol was at 175, so it's almost like a built-in excuse if you lost. I went to 175, I tried to be great, and I lost. I think him losing to someone that will touch the scales at 168 and losing to a fellow 168 guy is the problem. And maybe losing to a fellow Mexican-American or something. I don't know. I think that's there's egos, as you mentioned it. There's egos involved here.
Yeah. It's fascinating. I mean, but I think Benavidez was good at the weekend. I think he's got to keep trucking along. I want him to come back down to super middle. I want him to apply pressure to Canelo. I'm still fascinated. I think we need to discuss it. Ryan Garcia get involved in a spat with Caleb Plant ringside.
He's an
Ryan invited me out in London the other day. We were still in Riyadh, but he invited me out when we were in London. I need to catch up with him properly and have a chat with him. I think he's a superb, transparent human being. I mean, he's off the wall.
Oh, he's beyond that. Yeah, he's beyond off.
But I want to see him in with Gervonta again. I want to see him fight.
No, I want to see the rematch with Devin at 140.
And the rematch with Devin at 140.
I think there has to be a rematch where they both make 140 and we go again. And it'll be bigger than the first one. I mean, the first one was big. You know, I was lucky enough to be there. The second one will be enormous because of the asterisks about the first one.
Great for America that they've got these big fights again now, though, that can command global attention.
Agreed.
I think it's brilliant.
Agreed. And obviously Crawford's going to be fighting August 3rd as well. So, yeah, America right now is where it's happening. Before we wrap this section, Liam Parrow going to Puerto Rico and beating Subriel Matias comfortably, if I'm honest with you, is a big upset. It's probably one that hasn't sort of captured the casual public imagination, if you like. But to hardcore boxing fans, Matias was this beast at 140 that was feared by everyone. And up pops this Australian who says, I'll go there and fight him, and beats him. And look, Eddie Hearn will put on the brave face, but Eddie Hearn's going to be livid and disappointed with this just because, you know, the big sell was Matias. No, not just to open this Puerto Rico market in Puerto Rico, but as you know, the market is massive in New York. I mean, some of the biggest Puerto Ricans have fought at MSG, Miguel Cotto, Trinidad, and he hoped Matias would be that guy, and he's just got beaten. He's lost his world title in his first defense.
Yeah,
It's
indeed.
incredible.
And I just want to mention from a couple of weeks ago, we didn't mention him, Xander Zayas winning, headlining in New York on the top ranked card, and then
another Puerto
being one of the big names for Puerto Rico Day the day afterwards, just a couple of weeks back. And as you say, there's a Puerto Rico Day in New York. That's how big the community is. And obviously went to many of Miguel Cotto's fights, and obviously whenever he fought in New York, he was a huge draw. They are a massive boxing community. Congratulations to Eddie, DAZN, and Matchroom on going to Puerto Rico as well. It's an extraordinary country, and I think, it was an upset for them. But Liam Paro, Italian, Australian, very proud fighter. The problem is we didn't know how good he could be because it wasn't. I know he was undefeated, 14-0, I think it was, going into the fight, but we didn't know quite how capable he was because he hadn't fought that level of opponent, really.
No, the one before that was Montana Love, who was good, but not Matias good.
But we didn't have someone where we didn't have a performance where we thought, oh, this guy could fight anyone.
Yeah,
he really could, and he could come away with the spoils. So yes, a big shock defeat, an upset of Matias, but he'll come back. And no doubt Eddie has got some feathers in the carcass of Paro, and will have a little bit of control over his next event. Maybe they rematch. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain Jack Cattrall out there that would like a shot at Liam Paro.
Indeed.
How far away is Dalton Smith from a shot at Liam Paro? So there are other good 140 guys that Eddie has. Regis Prograis is with Matchroom as well. Devin Haney's there. So you're right. There's a lot of 140 guys that are going to put their hand up and fancy getting in the ring with Liam Paro. Just before we wrap this section, what's going on with Australian boxing right now? Liam Paro, Joe Pataya, Tim Zhu. I mean, obviously Kambosos is still around as well. Maloney brothers. Sky Nicholson's coming through, a world champion herself. I mean, they're starting to really breed so many good young boxers.
It's about time, and obviously we do get some shows over there. But I think they've been helped by the global interest that Top Rank and Matchroom Boxing show in that territory, if you like.
Yeah.
The Aussies are very physical people. The New Zealanders are. There's a great mix of DNA there with the Islanders as well, of course. And there's no reason why Australian, New Zealand boxing shouldn't be huge. We didn't mention Joe Parker then, either, did we? So, again, but he's kind of an adopted Brit these days almost.
Yeah, Morecambe.
It's great to see. I do think we could be going into a very strong period. And if it's to be believed, or maybe we say this for the next section, but if it's to be believed that this global league is going to be set up by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, then the whole planet's going to get involved in boxing, and the cream will definitely rise to the top.
As it should be. For too many years, it's been about America and the UK. It's good to see events now being put on in Asia, Saudi Arabia, Australia. It's a worldwide sport, and I think it should be more events all over the world. The next big one, I mean, you've spoken about this for so many years, Gareth, is Africa. We need to start to see these fighters come through, or big events put on in Africa, and that then inspires the next generation as well. We've not had a big event in Africa for years, and I feel like rather than African fighters coming over, let's find an African star, make one, big events in Ghana, which is a hotbed for boxing, South Africa, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and let's start to build Uganda.
Victory in Lake Victoria, or enemies in Entebbe, or
it'd be incredible.
Let's just create some events.
Let's create some events there. The weather's there. The athletes are clearly there. Unfortunately, we just don't have big events there.